After Bella shared her tumultuous life story, Chen Yuan, with the demeanor of a hidden expert, gently denied any insinuations that he was the one who helped Reprilog out of the Earth server. Bella didn't bother to ask for more. She just smiled meaningfully and nodded lightly. Anyway, I am very grateful to you, Mr. Chen. Perhaps after this incident, I will choose to step away from the stage, not allowing anyone to control me anymore. The truth behind Bella's story is known to no one. Who knows if the reality is just a fragment, while the rest is all of her literary creation, or it would be the opposite. However, Chen Yuan was not very interested in uncovering the truth of Bella's story. He focused on the unfinished meal, savoring a piece of expensive Kobe beef, and skillfully changed the subject. I have to admit the steak here is decent. The chef's skills are still not top-notch. Next time, I would like to invite Miss Bella to my home for a meal as a way of reciprocating. Bella was surprised and asked back, Mr. Chen can cook as well. Chen Yuan confidently replied and smiled lightly. Of course. By the way, let's add each other on WeChat. It will be more convenient for any future contact. Who knows, there might be more opportunities for collaboration. Bella felt a bit awkward. WeChat? I don't have it. Chen Yuan cheerfully replied, all right, let me show you how to create an account. It's easy. Foreigners rarely use WeChat. They usually just browse something else. Bella was the same, and this was only her second time setting foot in this country, all because of the performance. After a while of guiding her like a teacher, Chen Yuan finally helped Bella successfully install WeChat. As a result, Chen Yuan became Bella's only WeChat friend and international star, something perhaps only he could achieve. Okay, now we are friends, Chen Yuan said. After leaving, Bella sincerely reminded him. Mr. Chen, it was a pleasure to meet you, but I honestly advise you to be careful. I've heard there might still be some danger around you. She was also a bit curious. How could a top billionaire from Huaxia walk around without a bodyguard? Didn't he fear for his life? At that moment, Chen Yuan smiled and replied, Miss Bella, are you worried about my safety? Bella immediately countered, I'm not worried, just a little curious. After this meal, we won't see each other for long. I'm heading back to America soon. Chen Yuan pretended to be regretful. Oh, I originally planned to invest in a big movie and wanted to invite an international superstar for the main role, and Miss Bella is just too perfect for it. I was also preparing a game show and wanted to invite Bella as a judge. With both fame and experience, no one can compare. Hearing this unexpected invitation, Bella smiled slightly and replied, half jokingly and half seriously, but having me as a judge might be a bit expensive. Chen Yuan confidently responded, no problem, Miss Bella, just name your price. No matter how high, I can afford it. Seeing Chen Yuan's confidence seemed a bit too much, Bella didn't hesitate to raise a finger, pretending to want to scare Chen Yuan a little. Chen Yuan raised an eyebrow and asked tentatively, $100 million? Before Chen Yuan could finish, Bella was shocked to the core, sweat dripping down her face as she thought, I was going to say that just $10 million would be more than enough. Suddenly, he bluntly mentioned a price 10 times higher, and in dollars no less. Even as an international superstar, my cachet is not as high as those Huaxia celebrities. Moreover, the agent takes a cut and I end up with very little. Chen Yuan seriously asked, is $100 million not enough? What about $10 billion? Bella couldn't take it anymore and replied with a slight frown, Mr. Chen, I'm not joking. Chen Yuan responded, appearing casual, I'm not joking at all, I'm very serious. Bella widened her eyes, speechless. $100 million is already overwhelming, and $10 billion is just child's play. Then, Bella gently declined. Let's talk about this later. My work has always been managed by my representative, but there is a bit of an issue at the moment. Let me find a new person and we can discuss further. After saying this, a hint of suspicion flashed in her mind. If making money in the entertainment industry were that easy, there might be some hidden rules involved. In this life, I've already had one piece of cake fall from the sky. I don't want to try that again. Finally, the two of them stepped out of the restaurant just before 8 p.m. Chen Yuan still held on with one last remark. Ms. Bella, my game show really needs someone like you. Please consider my offer. At that moment, the sky suddenly thundered, and a lightning bolt tore across the night sky. The thunder roared as if it wanted to rip apart the heavens, creating an ominous atmosphere that made both of them lost in their own thoughts. As they approached the car, Chen Yuan casually said, it seems like it's going to rain soon. Miss Bella should head back to the hotel and rest early. But before they could get into the car, a white vehicle came rushing from a distance at rocket speed, showing no signs of slowing down. The driver not only did not brake, but also pressed the gas pedal harder, heading straight for Chen Yuan and Bella. Behind them, two tall bodyguards saw the dangerous situation and hurriedly rushed to intervene. But before they could do anything, they were knocked away like toys. At this moment, the vehicle was less than 3 meters from Chen Yuan and Bella. Chen Yuan could dodge, but Bella was standing right next to him. If she tried to dodge, she would definitely not be able to escape in time. Seeing this, Bella instinctively screamed, "Ah! Ah!" At this moment, the distance between the car and Chen Yuan was less than 2 meters, and Bella was standing right next to him. The situation was truly critical. Chen Yuan decided to take a bold approach instead of dodging. As he looked at the car speeding towards him like a rocket, his eyes narrowed and a smirk appeared on his face. "You intend to hit me? Dream on." Then, like a fierce beast stimulated, Chen Yuan jumped up. Before his feet even touched the ground, his hands swelled up and slammed down on the hood. The front of the car was immediately crushed, warped like a pancake being stepped on. The car jolted, not understanding why it was treated so brutally. By inertia, it flew backward, spinning in the air before crashing into a nearby wall, an accident that shook the entire neighborhood. While Bella was still in shock, Chen Yuan calmly gestured as if he had just completed a simple task. His face was cold, and his posture was indescribably cool. What kind of car is this that is so weak? Just a light touch, and it's already crushed. After digesting the information, Bella sat there with her mouth agape, her eyes filled with extreme astonishment. "Oh my god, this man in front of me just used his bare hands to push away a speeding car." The more Bella looked at Chen Yuan, the more she was left in shock. It was an unimaginable scene. As soon as the accident happened, many people around immediately gathered, their eyes wide open, mouths agape, as if they were watching a David Copperfield magic show. The population density in Yanjing is actually very high, with people jostling against each other, all wanting to get a clear view of the shocking car crash. In front of them was the car, so deformed that anyone who had once owned it might not even recognize it. Even more curious was what had happened to the people inside the car. An older man passing by took out his phone to record a clip and posted it online, along with the caption, "The never-ending car crash scene, please do not imitate." The kids watching the live stream were so excited that they spammed hearts and commented furiously, turning this scene into the highlight of the day. Meanwhile, smoke continued to build up like a curtain, both hazy and mysterious, creating an effect like in a blockbuster film without any special effects. But the story doesn't end there. From the crowd, a mysterious foreign young man appeared. He wore a hat that obscured most of his face and a long black coat that covered him from head to toe, matching the image of a legendary assassin. This person was the one who had aimed a gun at Chen Yuan from the upper floors of the restaurant. After Rapre was assassinated, he did not leave Huaxia, but lurked in the shadows waiting for an opportunity. Now Chen Yuan was also wanted globally on the darknet, and if successful, he would receive $1 billion. Therefore, he was determined to pull the trigger again tonight. But how could he escape Chen Yuan's senses? With just a glance, Chen Yuan had pinned the assassin right in the crowd. The assassin coldly approached within about 5 meters of Chen Yuan, raised his pistol to aim, and without hesitation, pulled the trigger. The gunshot rang out sharply. At such close range, the bullet flew out, and he was certain it wouldn't miss this time. But then, an unexpected event occurred. The bullet flew towards Chen Yuan, but he made no attempt to dodge. He calmly extended his hand and caught the bullet midair. A plume of white smoke rose from his hand, and the sight of Chen Yuan standing tall and motionless in the night like a bronze statue left everyone stunned and breathless. Bella's eyes widened, and the people around her were equally astonished. Chen Yuan stood there, his eyes glowing red, looking at the assassin in front of him with a cold gaze that seemed to pierce through his opponent. His gaze said little, but it was enough to convey the message. "Do you come here to seek death?" The assassin was also bewildered, unable to believe it. Is it really true that he caught the bullet with his bare hands? But when he saw the glint in Chen Yuan's eyes, his heart suddenly raced and sweat trickled down in drops. He quickly fired another shot, but this time Chen Yuan gently turned, flicking the bullet he had just caught straight back at his opponent. The bullet flew like lightning, hitting the assassin squarely in the forehead, causing him to collapse on the spot. Bella stood beside him, looking at him as if he were an extraterrestrial superhero. With her hand over her mouth and her eyes wide in disbelief, she couldn't process what was happening. In fact, the secret lay in the tiny coin that Chen Yuan had hidden in the palm of his hand. It had absorbed the impact of the bullet, leaving his hand unscathed. Indeed, a clenched fist, no matter how strong, had never been tested against a bullet. But one must have extreme reflexes. Not everyone could catch a bullet with their bare hands and throw it back like that. For Chen Yuan, it was merely a small exercise. For those witnessing it, it was truly a performance that defied all laws of physics. The sight of Chen Yuan tossing cars aside and catching bullets with his bare hands had left Bella feeling mesmerized. It wasn't that she wasn't scared, it was that she was so frightened that she was frozen, her body stiff from head to toe. Am I dreaming? Is this a real-life superhero? In Bella's eyes, Chen Yuan was no longer an ordinary businessman, but rather a superhero with the power to sweep away all dangers in an instant. As an American, Bella had been obsessed with images of superheroes from movies since she was young. This time, she never expected to meet a real-life superhero. The image of Superman from the films kept flashing through her mind. Bella suddenly realized that Chen Yuan didn't survive the attack at the restaurant and the previous poisoning incident by sheer luck. It was because he was incredibly talented, seemingly not of this world. At that moment, Bella looked at Chen Yuan with sparkling eyes filled with admiration. His aura radiated a powerful charisma that made her heart flutter. Favorite level, +10. The crowd was equally impressed. Upon learning about Chen Yuan's true identity, they immediately displayed a sense of awe and excitement that was hard to describe. With just one sharp glance from him, each person in the crowd bowed their heads in admiration as if they had just encountered the god of wealth. At that moment, Bella could no longer maintain her image as an international star. She turned into an excited fan and asked Chen Yuan, "You are Superman, right? You really are Superman?" Chen Yuan smiled, responding with a humble demeanor. "No, I am not Superman." But Bella didn't pay any attention to the answer. Her eyes sparkling, she continued, "You really are Superman. You pushed the cart with your bare hands and caught bullets in midair. If you are not Superman, then who are you?" "Oh my, so cool and amazing." "I agree with you," Bella added. "I should have realized that from the incident at the restaurant. But this time, you are even more spectacular. There really are extraordinary people like you in the world." Chen Yuan raised an eyebrow and asked, "What do you agree with?" Bella looked at him as if under a spell. Ready to forget her intention to return to the US, she declared, "I accept your invitation to be a judge for that talent show. Now, I am really looking forward to collaborating with you." After the car accident and the miraculous barehanded bullet catch by Chen Yuan, the scene was bustling with people pushing and shoving. Whether they wanted to or not, Chen Yuan and Bella had to return to the police station to explain to the officers what had happened. At the police station, Chen Yuan sat upright facing an officer. In response to every question, he answered simply as if he were listening to a story, saying he didn't know anything. Chen Yuan himself could not reveal the whole truth. If he shared such details, the police would definitely take him in for examination. Therefore, he decided to maintain an attitude of ignorance for safety. However, since this incident involved a hitman and an international star, the leadership also came down to the scene to check and remind. This assassination has caused very negative repercussions. Is there any progress? Captain Zhang quickly replied, "Currently, Mr. Chen and Miss Bella have no issues. However, according to testimonies and the scene of the hitman's death, there are some strange points. Witnesses clearly saw the car charging straight towards Mr. Chen and Miss Bella, knocking down both bodyguards. Yet in the end, both of them were unharmed. According to the witness, as the car was about to hit them, it suddenly seemed to fly over the heads of Mr. Chen and Miss Bella, possibly skidding or hitting something. As for the bullet, a hitman appeared after the accident and shot at Mr. Chen. However, he only said that it was dark and he couldn't see clearly, only knowing to cover his head and dodge. The hitman fired twice, then for some unknown reason suddenly fell dead. Perhaps someone had recognized him as a hitman and retaliated. As for Miss Bella, from beginning to end, she knew nothing and was so scared that her mind went blank. Seeking clues from these two was like searching for a needle in a haystack. Regarding the assassin, Bella's representative named Repre was assassinated a few days ago. Based on the fingerprints and traces collected, it can be determined that the attacker is a foreigner named Kenvin. Repre appears to be no simple person. He owned dozens of villas in the US, real estate all over the world, and even an island with an estimated asset value of over $10 billion. Captain Zhang, that's enough. No need to elaborate further. It is likely that this is a hired assassination. Given the wealth that Repre possesses, his identity is certainly not simple. Investigate further. Oh, in the coming days before Bella returns to the US, please increase security. I do not want to see a situation like this happen in Yanjing again. After completing the report, Chen Yuan and Bella were released. By midnight, Chen Yuan leisurely returned to the hotel. As soon as he entered the room, Qin Wushuang and Yi Han seemed to have been waiting for him and immediately rushed over with a barrage of questions. "Chen Yuan, did you encounter an assassination attempt again today?" "I heard the police briefly mention this incident," Qin Wushuang said. Chen Yuan replied calmly as if nothing was important. "Nothing. I'm used to it." Yi Han spoke seriously, his gaze icy. "Chen Yuan, this time Bella is very suspicious. Don't you see there's a problem? Today she just invited you to eat and then the assassin showed up. Last time it was in a restaurant with her, you encountered a sniper assassin. Clearly there's an issue." Chen Yuan didn't bother to respond, but inside he wondered. Repre is dead. The assassination should have been temporarily halted. Normally, Wai Shaman Ku's missions should be carefully planned, not to mention being well prepared. Yet less than 24 hours later, two assassins came to carry out an attack without any clear direction. He couldn't help but laugh when he recalled their amateur assassination attempt with no clear plan, completely unprepared, and recklessly disorganized. At least the last time, the venomous snake assassins brought a large transport vehicle, sniper rifles, and everything properly arranged, like choosing to play on hard mode, but still having support items. Qin Wu Shuang asked wide-eyed, "Is Bella really a problem?" Yihan shook his head, his expression thoughtful. Unclear, but it's true that she might have intentionally approached Chen Yuan. Hearing this, Chen Yuan took out his laptop and replied, "No matter what the problem is, we can find out by checking." Then he started logging into the darknet with the assassin account. Registering for a darknet account is not too difficult, especially since Chen Yuan had hacked into its database. Now accessing it from any assassin account is as easy as flipping a hand. During the logging process, the darknet led him through many different websites. As soon as he saw the screen, Qin Wu Shuang immediately scolded. "Oh my god, we're talking about something important and you still have the mood to look at this stuff." Chen Yuan sneered, "Be quiet, don't bother me." Just a moment later, a website with an interface full of adult content popped up, causing Qin Wu Shuang to blush and scream. "Chen Yuan, what are you watching? When have you been in such a mood?" Chen Yuan remained calm, operating quickly and soon accessing the main interface of the darknet. Yihan stared at the screen and curiously asked, "What is this?" Chen Yuan briefly explained, "Darknet." It turned out that behind those dark pages lay a secret link leading to the darknet. Immediately, Yihan asked in astonishment, "Is it the legendary darknet, the place where people can buy and sell all kinds of things from assassins, guns, to money laundering?" Qin Wu Shuang couldn't help but exclaim in shock, "Wait, how do you have a darknet account? Are you a hitman too?" Chen Yuan just smiled cleverly in response. "I'm not a hitman, but I have a way to log in." Suddenly, a large red headline appeared, freezing all three of them. Global FOA, also known as Global Pursuit Order. Qin Wu Shuan pointed at the prominent headline and asked, "What is this?" "I don't know either. It seems to be a global announcement. Let's take a look." As Shen Yuan opened it, a series of clear information appeared. Target: Shen Yuan, 22 years old, identity: Waxay billionaire. Particularly striking was the line, "Whoever kills Chen Yuan will receive $1 billion. Qin Wu Shuang's eyes went wide and he gasped in shock. Is this for real? Looking at the picture on the screen, he couldn't be mistaken. It was indeed Chen Yuan's photo, the real deal, with no further confirmation needed. Yihan was also stunned, staring at Chen Yuan's image, unable to believe it. "You have a global bounty on you? Chen Yuan, do you know how serious this is?" Hearing that, Qin Wu Shuang also worriedly interjected, "Oh my god, so the assassins from all over the world will be targeting you." Shen Yuan calmly nodded, unflappably frightening. "It seems that way. Now there's a bounty on you from the darknet for global assassins to aim at. Since the darknet was established over 10 years ago, only 2 people have ever made it onto this global hit list, and both were figures with a strong influence on the world." Yihan held his breath and asked, "So what happened to those 2 people?" Chen Yuan didn't care much and replied briefly, "They're both dead." The atmosphere in the room was as tense as a tightened string. Yihan and Qin Wu Shuan both took deep breaths, filled with concern. How serious had this situation become? Who could stay calm in the face of a global manhunt? Yet Chen Yuan seemed unfazed, sitting there with a poker face as if the sky collapsing had nothing to do with him. Qin Wu Shuan continued to ask, her voice full of anxiety, "Chen Yuan, have you thought of a way to deal with this?" In Shen Yuan's mind, only 2 plans for survival came to mind. The first was to seek official protection by revealing everything and offering his assets in hopes of receiving military protection. But this method was uncertain, since who could know if someone in the military could be bought off. The second option seemed more feasible, to escape to a remote place known to no one, hiding in the deep forests and mountains, cutting off all communication to be forever hidden. Yihan immediately retorted, "There is no place in the world that is completely inviolable. With such a large bounty, as soon as a bit of information leaks, the assassin will not hesitate to come after you. And the hardest part is that there are as many assassins as there are ants. Even the closest individuals can suddenly turn their backs due to greed." At this point, Yihan felt a chill run down his spine. This was indeed a difficult problem to solve. Chen Yuan remained calm, responding coldly. "There are things I hadn't planned to act on so soon, even intending to give the opponent a chance lightly. But this global chase by the darknet is truly pushing my limits. If they cannot restrain themselves, then they can just disappear from here." As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Yuan's gaze turned sharp, and a powerful aura emanated from him like a blade drawn from its sheath. "The only thing that can stop me is death." In his mind, he heard the voice of the system. Master, you have now reached the pinnacle of hacker skill on Earth. If you continue to enhance, it will break the current technical limits and reach the super god level hacker. Note that achieving the super god level requires 60 enhancement points. Would you like to confirm the enhancement? Hearing the announcement, Chen Yuan was quite surprised. He thought leveling up would be as easy as usual, but it turns out reaching the super god level required a full 60 points. But at this point, he decided he had to be decisive. Confirm enhancement. The enhancement was successful, leaving him with 30 enhancement points. Immediately, a large amount of computer knowledge flooded into Chen Yuan's mind, making him both excited and amazed. It turned out that computer technology held so many mysteries. The top firewall systems of major companies, which seemed so secure, were actually full of vulnerabilities. The artificial intelligence that Earth prided itself on was still nothing special. With his new super god level skill, Chen Yuan felt as if he had entered an entirely new dimension, with the ability to decode and optimize equations perfectly. Here, no firewall was absolutely secure, not even the darknet. Chen Yuan began typing lightly on the keyboard, his hands deftly creating a series of afterimages. In an instant, a mini-program he wrote himself was deployed to attack the darknet system. The technicians of the darknet, who had already been frightened once before, were always on guard. But this time, with a super god level skill, it would be hard to defend against. Underground at the Global Darknet Technical Center, a blaring red alarm sounded. A technician shouted, "He's here! He's back again!" The technical manager replied confidently, "Really? Just as Mr. X predicted. But this time the firewall has been reinforced. He won't be able to break through easily." But before he could finish, his face went stiff as if he had seen a ghost. "Manager, it's bad?" The firewall was breached in just 5 seconds. What? 5 seconds? How could he break it so quickly? It's over. He's taken control of the Darknet's final management. The entire Darknet system officially became Chen Yuan's playground. He could enter whenever he wanted, leave whenever he wanted, and modify anything he wished. The interface, homepage, and icons were all messed up, filled with mocking lines aimed at the hackers facing him. Looking at the homepage, a technician helplessly exclaimed, "Look, he's changed it to some insults against us. What are we waiting for? Regain control quickly." No, the system has been locked from the inside. The only way is to shut down the entire Darknet, fix the vulnerabilities, and restart. Not only that, on the Darknet's homepage, Chen Yuan also announced 10 new global warrants with the names of 10 different people.